Hey guys, Max Mom here, and today I'll be talking about a little something less game related, but still very pertinent to the gaming community. School. If you're a professional person and that's trying to understand school or is analyzing it or something, this is not really a gaming related video, but I don't have any school slideshow or anything fancy for that. So you're just gonna have to watch this gameplay. If you're looking for something a little more professional, feel free to click away. But here we go. There's no really sounds of guns or explosions, so you don't have to worry about that getting in the way of the commentary. Now, I'll be talking about school and why it's important, but also its flaws. Actually, mainly its flaws. So, here's some brief background for me as a student and my school career, so y'all can understand where I'm coming from, and I'm sure many of you can relate to me. I am a high school student with fairly good grades. I had a 4.0 GPA last semester, not bad, but I absolutely abhor school. Like, I want to punch it in the face. If you could do that to a school, I would do it. I hate it, and I'll share why and how we as a community can change that. School. Well, the current school system is as messed up as ever before. School, like elementary school, was originally intended to teach people back in like the 1700s basic skills like reading and writing under an oak tree with one Bible to read out of, with 20 kids circled around. Okay, great, no problem there. Limited resources, but make it work. Okay, reading and writing is all important. All good. Then you progress a little further ahead into the future and you get things like the old schoolhouse, where they taught reading and writing skills, basic math, but the primary goal was teaching factory skills, because that's where all the money was at. The United States was going through an industrial period, and that's where factories were becoming a big thing. If you did well in school, you got to go work at the factory. It's like now get to become like some big multi-billion-dollar company CEO. Back then it was like, yeah, I got to work at the factory. I'm cool, guys. Look at where life has led me. But factory work was the thing. That's where sitting in rows comes from at school, because they wanted to train people to work in factories. That was an old thing from like the early 1900s. Just take that into consideration. We're using the exact same methods we used in the early 1900s. This is an entirely new century with entirely new needs and jobs that need filling. If something as basic as seating is the same as it was back then, imagine what else is like that. School has been geared towards factual knowledge in the past because that's what the needs were. It was factory work or farming or whatever your job was, whatever your family did. It was all very basic. And there weren't new breakthroughs in science every other day or new viruses that needed curing like there is today. You just worked in factories, so your skill set was fairly slim. As more and more knowledge became necessary to perform new and more sophisticated jobs, they naturally expanded the school curriculum to fit these needs. Again, all fine and dandy, but there's only so much you can cram into one person's brain. Jobs continued to require more and more training, and they had to add in an entirely new branch of schools, which are all too familiar to us: high schools. And then after that, colleges came along after that for like specialized job training. With all these new things that needed doing, new jobs, new careers, they had to add on 8 more years of school. 8 years! That is completely absurd. There is a problem there. You can't just keep feeding people facts until they're ready to fill a niche or do a job, because if you did that, there might be a time when you go to school till you're 30 years old. Because guess what? Scientific and technological advancements have never been so quickly progressing than now. And at this rate, by 2050, there will be 4 more years of school tacked on. Because you're just giving people facts. Facts are infinite. You can never teach everyone all the facts in the world. That's not possible. You can teach them the basic ones or the important ones, like that the world is round, for instance. You might need to know that one day, and you can teach the letters in the alphabet, that's important. But as soon as you start teaching them the parts of a cell, and then the parts of the cell, and then the parts of those parts, then you start running into trouble because you're in an infinite loop of facts. The entire world is an infinite loop of facts. You cannot teach everybody everything. That's not possible. The solution to making smarter people is not more facts. It's how you get those facts. You give people the knowledge to figure things out on their own, so you don't have to teach them, because again, you can't teach everything. I had a middle school teacher, and he was easily the best teacher I ever had. He taught real life skills, not the class that you have called life skills, which I had. That class is like how you make friends. No, life skills like how to find a fact on Google, or how to judge a biased opinion, or find a credible source of information. He taught me how to learn. He taught me how to think. He was brilliant. If every teacher was like him, we would be driving hover cars on Pluto right now. Because what he taught was not facts. He taught ideas. His area of expertise was history. He had a history major. And we never learned a single date in that class. Because the way he saw it was, what's a date in the modern world? What significance does that have in today's society? How does that better me intellectually as a person? It doesn't. School has been drifting away from teaching a single thing for a single purpose. Obviously, because there are more opportunities for jobs in a range of different careers. But instead of teaching us the skills, emphasis on the word skills, the skills we need to succeed in the careers we are focusing on, they teach us the facts of every single career out there. The only job that I need dates for is a historical archaeologist who finds stuff, like digs it up out of the ground, and then determines how old it is. That is literally the only job. Like, that's the only thing I could possibly think of that you would need to know the dates. Yet, we get in school and we spend a significant amount of our day trying to learn and memorize those dates. It's a waste of our time. Another problem is that the internet is becoming more and more part of our daily lives. We literally have every single fact at our fingertips. Google is everything I could learn in school in those 4 years in high school and a decent amount of my time in college. Why am I spending my time taking a map test on Africa if I can click on my iPhone and see every single country out there? What life situation am I going to be in that requires me to know all the countries in Africa and where they're located? If I get lost in Africa, then I have my phone. If it runs out of battery, then I'm probably not anywhere near a border, which would be more populated and probably have some electricity. And if I'm not anywhere near a border, then I'm not going to need to require any knowledge of the country I'm in or any countries that I'm going to. And I'm probably not traveling a lot, because if I was traveling a lot, I would have a car, and if I had a car, then I would have GPS, or maybe not GPS, but at least somewhere to charge my phone. There is no situation that requires me to know that. It is a waste of time that could be better spent on something else. Tests are another very important flaw. Any test we had in my middle school teacher's class was OpenNote, and our notes were the internet. Because, like I said before, we were never tested on facts, which he knows can easily be gotten off the internet, because he's not stupid. Rather, our tests were on concepts and ideas. The idea behind school, the idea behind school is to prepare you for your job and your life. What job or life scenario would put me in a place bereft of the internet access? Why do I need to memorize something if I can get it at the click of a button? How does that prepare us in any way? Memorize is the word you should look out for. The only place the word memorize applies to is learning another language. which is memorizing like vocabulary words in Spanish and stuff like that. And learning another language, I would argue, is also a waste of time. Stay away from the word memorize. Every time your teacher says memorize, take a step back and say, hang on, what the heck is this? Be careful. Now, after all those bad things, I want to point out the good things, or rather the things I agree with. Not necessarily good, but are important and that we need. Basic reading and writing is important. Definitely don't want to take that out of the school curriculum. Basic math and algebra. You have 30 candy bars and you eat 26. What do you have? Diabetes. That's basic math. That is the only fact-based thing that you could possibly need in like high school or elementary school. English is important too, like English class. I have hated it in the past and thought it fell under the worthless category. But if you get taught the right stuff, it is important. English is good for analyzing text, picking out the essential pieces of information. That's a good life skill to have. You probably need that. Also, writing is good. Not necessarily narrative writing, but maybe writing a job application, or a letter of interest, or an argumentative paper. Those are good life skills to have and can be applied to a wide variety of circumstances. I think that's the key. If it can be applied to more than one job or career, then it's important. And college is very important in my opinion. Not that it should stay in its current form, and I have some ideas on how we could change college around, make it a little bit better, but the idea of concept. College is schooling for your specialized career as an individual. If you want to be a doctor, it will be important for you to know the body's organs. The facts. You want to get those facts for something individualized, but not George Washington's birthday. College, or the reform version that I would like to see, is where the fact-based learning comes in, based on your area of expertise. A doctor is not going to get a major in engineering, unless he's like a doctor tool maker or something, but in general, they wouldn't do that. Now, this was a lot longer than I thought it would be, so I will have to make a follow-up video in the future, most likely very soon. I will talk about the new and improved school system that I would like to see, as well as how it relates to us gamers, because I know this is a game-related channel, but because I know I didn't really get into the gaming stuff, I'll have to make a video on that. I might even make a whole new playlist for school-related topics, because I definitely have some things that I'd like to talk about. So if you like this and want more, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Okay guys, see ya.